Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vanessa. And if you're new here, I'm the president of Pro REA Staffing. We're a recruiting firm and we serve the real estate space. And this video is part of a series that I'm doing on exploring careers in real estate. I recently posted a video on what it's like to be an independent transaction coordinator, and I'll link to that video. But I thought after doing that video that it would be really helpful to talk to somebody about what it's like to be a transaction coordinator and part of a larger community of TCs. And that's where Transactly comes in. So my guest today is Emily. Emily is the National TC Service Manager for Transactly. And we're going to learn a little bit about what the heck they do. So, hey, Emily, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Vanessa.
Okay, so let's just start with the basics. What is Transactly?
So Transactly is a real estate technology. We help agents save time, stay organized, and grow their business. So agents can use the platform themselves to do this, or they can hire a tech-enabled Transactly coordinator to delegate their non-revenue generating tasks so that they have more time to prospect clients.
Cool. So, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but just to sort of rephrase to clarify. So an agent can use Transactly on their own to manage their deals, or they can hire a TC through Transactly, or a TC can come onto the platform to serve their clients. So it's like the conduit for managing transactions.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So how do TCs join Transactly, or like what's the relationship between Transactly and the TCs who use the platform?
So we have several independent TCs who use Transactly for the free tech. The benefits of being a Transactly coordinator versus an independent is the back office support. So we've interviewed thousands of TCs. We hear the same feedback across the board. You know, TCs come to Transactly to take care of the prospecting, the accounting. They're craving that work-life balance and consistency. The typical personality type of a TC is people-pleasing and can be to their own detriment sometimes, where they actually take better care of their clients than of themselves. So Transactly sets those boundaries with clients of what a coordinator does and doesn't do. Transactly coordinators are also, only available during normal business hours. They have a support team that helps them with client issues, contract questions, system questions. So
wow, that's a lot of support
behind them, yeah. Instead of just being on an island.
Yeah, and I think, you talked briefly about the team support. I think that's a really big issue for transaction coordinators is they feel like they can never take any time off because the deals keep coming. So how does that work? If a transaction coordinator, let's say they have 30 files open and they're sick or they need to take a couple of days off, how does that work within your system?
Yeah, this is a chance that they can actually take a real vacation and not bring their laptop and phone to Disney World with them. We would pair them with another one of our Transactly coordinators to cover their files while they were out, whether it be for emergencies or illness or just good old vacation. We facilitate that coverage for them so that they can focus on their home life and not be worried about their work life.
Cool. So let's say somebody wants to go out on their own as a transaction coordinator and they don't know how to generate business. Does Transactly help them find clients?
Yes, so we do procure clients for our coordinators, but they can also procure on their own. We are currently only bringing on experienced coordinators. So the people that we have right now have a pretty good base of what it takes to obtain a client on their own. But if they came in without any, then yes, we do feed them those clients so that they don't have to spend their time prospecting. They can focus on their file work.
Okay. And so obviously the idea of Transactly is to make it easier to facilitate these transactions. So for the average TC, how many more files can they handle, let's say in a month, through Transactly than they probably could on their own outside of the platform?
It's a really tough number to estimate since there really isn't like a standard right now in this business. So most TCs get into the role because they obtain their real estate license, and upon testing out sales, they realize that a transaction is really two completely different jobs for two completely different personalities, which if you excel at one, you probably don't love the other one. So we estimated that based on our task list, that a TC spends roughly 16 hours per contract to close file. So depending on your efficiency system, if you're working only business days, as RTCs do, 8 hours per day, you'd be handling about 15 files per month. We have Transactly coordinators that have about 50 to 60 contracts running successfully because the application automates around how they work best. So it's all about efficiency, trying to get things that the agent doesn't want to do, the TC is doing, and what the TC doesn't want to do, Transactly does.
Makes sense. And does it allow for more transparency between the two? So there's less communication back and forth?
Absolutely. So the platform was built around transparency. We've taken away this like cloak and dagger under contract. Nobody knows what's going on, what's coming next. So the platform is inclusive, so everybody can be brought in: the agent, the TC, the buyers, the sellers, any vendors, things like that, so that everybody can see what's been done, what's coming soon, what's been completed and by who. And it's just everything all in one spot to keep it really efficient and transparent.
And I know you guys are a newer company, but how many transaction coordinators currently use the platform? Do you happen to know?
I don't have the total number of how many total TCs use our platform, but we have about 120 Transactly coordinators at the moment.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. And then obviously, I'm sure there's a difference in payment structure if somebody's using the platform, but they're not using all of the services versus if they're part of your like 120 TCs. So can you share like how the fees work?
Sure. I mean, the Transactly application is completely free for any outside user to get. Anybody can use it on their own for no charge. Transactly coordinators are compensated on a flat fee structure. So there's no startup cost or buy-in. It's not like an MLM model. For company provided clients, the TC can earn up to $375. And for a self-procured client, they can earn up to $490.
Okay, those are pretty competitive, those are pretty standard fees.
Mhm.
Now, if somebody wanted to become a Transactly TC, what are your requirements before you hire somebody?
Right now, we require somebody to have 2 years of experience coming in. Um, they go through an assessment to make sure that they are, computer efficient, that they understand how to coordinate an actual contract. Just because somebody was, a realtor for years doesn't mean that they will make a great TC. So we do put them through like screening and interviews to make sure that since it's virtual and everything revolves around our technology, that they are tech savvy, that they have the experience backing them, and then we go further into their like systems knowledge so that we can match them with clients the best we can.
Right, perfect. And if somebody, I'll link to the career page in this if anybody's interested in exploring a career with Transactly. And what else should people know about working with your company?
I mean, the TCs using our platform, they can build their business as well. So they can enroll their own clients, and those clients stay with them as their dedicated TC. And they're still provided all the benefits of Transactly. So they'll still get their success coach, the client will, everybody will have access to the system. And then it's really flexible. So TCs can decide how many files they want to take on. Each coordinator decides how busy they want to be to accomplish their personal and professional goals. And I think that's a big piece for them, especially now that many of our coordinators with school age children are trying to navigate virtual learning and working. Um, but that's where it really comes into having that support network and that team behind you, so that even though you're working virtually out of your kitchen, you're not on an island. You are backed by all that support and a knowledge base.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can also imagine getting help with collecting fees and not having to invoice or follow up or deal with clients who aren't paying you on time. And because I know in some states you can be paid out of the transaction. Sometimes you have to bill the client directly, and all of that's handled for them.
Right. Yeah. And as an independent, you are running your own business. So you are responsible for your client procurement. You're now an accountant. You're a bill collector. You are customer success, your everything if you're doing it on your own, and we take care of all that on the back end for them.
Cool. And they're still independent contractors, and so they can still write off their own expenses. They're just using your platform and taking advantage of the services that you guys provide to them. Cool.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for sharing what you guys do. I think it's such an interesting model and a really good option for some people who want to be on their own but still want support. One other question I had before we go. If a TC is using your platform and they're growing and they're bringing their own clients in, are they able to build their own team? Or at some point, would somebody like that, like, what are the growth opportunities for somebody who's a TC with Transactly?
I mean, as of right now, we are still a tech startup, so the sky's kind of the limit on what that looks like. The fun thing about being in a startup is that you get to shape how things look, and the um, efficiency of the application is built on our TC's feedback. So I'm not exactly sure what that looked like for the future. I don't currently have any TC teams, but
Mhm.
not to say it won't
Right.
happen.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, thank you so much. It was great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, you guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Emily. I'll include her contact information. And if you're looking for other types of roles in real estate, make sure to go to proreastaffing.com to check out all of our open jobs. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.